Um, I went ahead and added some color to see how the base was going to absorb the color. It was working pretty good. And now, get my color. Alright, I just went into some red right here, just to see how it was going to appear, because this is a dark canvas. I also mixed up some white, black, and some touches of blue to give it a grayish color for the shadow, because when you're working with the color white, you don't really want to go into black as the primary color, simply because it's going to make it appear gray. You don't want it to be gray, because our subject matter is linen cloth, part of the linen cloth, and when we paint shadows, we can go into a mixture of light gray and whatever color the linen would be. So I started some shadows right here. These are going to be our light tones. These right here and right in here is our light tones. So we're just going to go ahead and start. I know that sort of looks like it's already part of this, but it's not. And when we put the highlight in here, we're gonna really see it come out, and we're gonna see that it is a shadow indeed. And if we have to darken it, that's fine. We can darken it with a little bit more gray. I hope y'all enjoyed the last two. The first one I was very nervous on. But the second one, I think I did a pretty good job, and I hope I did, and I hope you liked it. And so I'm going to add more thinner, and to help this paint go on real good. But for this particular canvas, I'm using a lot of thinner with it, so that it will go on there. Now, when I get down in these areas right here, because they're in shadow, I want to put them in deep shadow, not black and not gray, but the shadow color. So when I get down to this part, I'm just going to stop right here and finish that particular part of it out. And we're just going to leave that for right now. This right here I want to fix, because I don't see, on the subject matter, I don't see nothing blunt that's stopped right there. I see folds and creases and the ins and outs of what makes linen look linen. Cloth makes cloth. And right in here, I'm just going to add, like, although it's folded right there. And I hope y'all can see that. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and add more of the shadow color right where my crease would be. And I may be running out of my shadow color. I'm going to stop that right there, because I just realized that the linen, although it is part of the subject, it's also the background, in the background. So I want to have my light coming this way, but I want to have shadow right here to make this colander stand out, because I had found it at a yard sale and had bought the colander and the apples. And I seen them and I thought, oh, that's going to make a wonderful painting. And down here, there's a fold down here, and what we're going to do, I'm not going to base it in like this. I'm just going to pull it down under the apple, the part of the apple, and I'm going to zigzag it just like this. And I'm going to bring it on down. Like I said, we may have to go back into it and add more of the shadow colors, make it stand out a little bit better up against the white highlights if it's not white enough or bright enough. See, I'm almost out of my gray right here. You can see my easel, my palette through it. When you're working with a palette, I found out the best kind of palette to work with is one that's neutral toned, like a brown. Mine's brown. Mine's wooden, lightweight wooden. Some artists use white palettes, but when you do, you can't judge your color by that adequately. So I find it's the best way to do it is to use a neutral colored palette, because I've made that mistake too. I've been painting since I was 14. I'm 40 right now, and I've learned a lot of things on the way. as all we all have. I'm going to leave that right there, just like this. And I'm just going to have that touching, because I'm going to make this part lighter, because the light's coming this way. There's rolls right here. I just can't make them out very well. So I think if I start laying in the background a little bit better, I think I'd be able to find that roll again, because I had to adjust my subject matter earlier today. And so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's wipe our shadow off. See, I'm cleaning my palette. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this red up too, because I might get carried away in that red. I love red. I'm gonna grab another brush. A nice background brush, if I can find it. There it is. I'm going to wet it real good with the thinner. A lot of people use turpentine. I would rather use thinner though, because the kind I use is environmentally safe. It has no odor, and plus it's got conditioners in for my brushes. So, like I said, I'm loading down my brush with a lot of thinner. Now my shadow is going to be over here, and I can't use black alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull right back into the white. Make it a substantial color first. I'm going to pull in some black to make it a little bit less of a neutral gray, a little bit more black, just a small amount more. And now I'm going to touch my blue. See how that blue flavored that gray? A little bit more thinner. Now this is going to be the same color as that, only lighter, a little bit lighter. So I need to darken this a little bit more. So I'm going to go into some phthalo blue and some cadmium red hue. And I'm going to flavor this as a purple or a violet. There's no yellow particularly in the shadow, so I'm going to mix it in with my gray. We're going to see how this looks. But we're not getting into the light parts, we're only staying in the dark. Now in here, I'm just going to go ahead and do a full-blown purple. Simply because I can work with a purple better than I can a black, straight black. I can lighten the purple as it's coming out better than I can a black, because the black will turn gray and I'll lose all this right here. With the purple, I can make it darker here and then bring it out. And as I bring it out, it's going to look as though it's in deep fold. So let's get that done. I may have to load this down with a lot of thinner. Oh, and by the way, the material I'm using is linen. I don't know if y'all caught the very first episode that when I introduced myself. I think I introduced myself. But I said there was a technique that you can use if you don't have canvas to paint on and you really want to paint. And I'm always like that. I found out you can staple some linen. Well, this is an old sheet that nobody needed, so I just cut it up and I put it on a base, which is like a board or some lightweight something that's going to hold and not buckle. I put it on there and I stapled it in. After I stapled it in, I gessoed it. And I waited a while. I waited, I think, 24 hours, and I went back and I gessoed it again. I'm creating some more purple. So this one's going to be a little bit darker, and so I don't want it to be that dark. I'm going to go into my gray now. But so anyway, so this is actually linen I've used in the place of canvas, which makes the same paint and surface. Only this in here, I think it's I would have preferred it been gessoed a little bit better, because it's very absorbent right now. But I mean, as long as I can get my paint on there and everything, it'll be all right. All right, now I'm gonna leave all this right here for right now. These are gonna come in last. I don't want to mess the highlights up, so I'm gonna go ahead and start on the colander. And I'm gonna wipe my surface clean first. And the other painting that I had done, we're gonna do it tonight as well. We're gonna go ahead and do the scumbling to it, and can't wait to get to that. But right now we're working on this painting. And if y'all would like to see anything else that I've done, and I would hope that you did, you can go to foundmyself.com and look for Barry.I Miller. There's going to be a lot of them. So if you want to know a few names, Rainy Days, R-A-I-N-I-N, Days, D-A-Y-Z, that's one of them. Not Only My Foot is one of them. There's many others. Wine and Cheese is one of them. So let's get back to our painting. Let's go ahead and start it on there. Colander, and I am going to get I don't know what a number this is. Number 6. Bright. No. What's the name of this? Anyway, it's this one right here. It's the number 6. Bright. I've had one kind of a day today, so pardon me. All right, we're gonna do silver color. We're gonna do white. Now I've heard of a color recipe that uses white, black, and burnt umber. We're gonna try that one. All right, white, small touch of black, a small touch of burnt umber. We're gonna see if this turns out to be silver. Does that look silver to you yet? Let's see. Let's try a little bit more black. Maybe it needs to be having more black in it. I don't really want this to turn out to looking like a pewter, something pewter. So let's try in this area right here. That still looks white, but let's go with it. Now I've tried to do the top of it as an ellipse, but it just apparently didn't want to work with me. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just basing in this color, and then we'll work on the tones later. I'm going to leave this like that. There's a roll down here, so we're just going to go past it real quick. I'm going to stop right there with that. Come on around. And like I said, I got a lot of thinner in this brush. And we ain't going to touch that red of the apple. Although if it does, that's fine, because we can go back in with different colors, different tones, and fix it, because they're not fixed yet. They're just in, just to see how they're going to do. They're temporary tenants of the canvas right now. Now, That, to me, that looks white. But it is see me mix, it is a mixture of white, black, and burnt umber. So let's hope we can get this thing to work, huh? The handle's gonna be right in here, so I'm just gonna plop it right there, and the handle is gonna be right there somewhere. The other handle is right over here, and if it's in shadow, I'm not gonna see a lot of it. I'm just gonna see some of it. Now for the ellipse part, I'm gonna add a lot more thinner so I can get it in there. I'm just gonna give it the structure it's got, the basic structure it's got, and I'm not really gonna try to do it perfectly, because I want the shadows to come in. When the shadows come in, I want the shadows to do that. And so this here is going to be in shadow, so I'm going to go ahead and do shadow now. How would you shadow silver? Well, let's try another recipe and see how that works. Maybe we can use this first mixture as shadow. I'm mixing white, a touch of cerulean blue, and burnt umber, which I have to use instead of Van Dyke brown. We're going to see if this makes a better mixture of silver. Well, that's just as bright, isn't it? Let's tone it down some. I'm using just a touch of black. Well, I picked up some more of that first mixture. I'm not so sure about that. But let's go ahead and finish. Let's go ahead and continue. If it's not the way we like it, we can fix it. Hopefully. Alright, got that in. Let's work on the outside of it. Alright, if silver's going to be darkened. Silver's going to be shadowed. Well, let's try. Some black. Real dark gray. See, I got real dark gray right there. But it's not just gray, it's mixed in with the silver color that we had. And if it doesn't turn out to be silver, we can say it's a fruit bowl or something. I'm gonna get just a little bit more thinner. I want this part darker. Well, it's not silver, I don't think. We'll make it silver. Let's do some more shadowing. Alright, my light's coming this way, so this is going to cast a shadow right there to right here. And of course I might be doing the whole thing wrong, but that's okay too. I don't guess there's no right and wrong in painting, is there? And if there is, well, oops. As long as it looks right, looks good to you, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and go back into the second color of silver that we made, or attempted to make. And I'm going to go ahead and get this done, this part in here, so I'll know what it is at least. And you can see I've left a part of it right here untouched, because that's going to be my highlight part. Just going to go ahead and bring it all the way down in there. Go on the other side here. Alrighty now. We're gonna try something here. This is pure white with thinner in it. Not a whole lot of thinner. We're just gonna try it. Make it look like so it's rounded. We got this opening right here, which we can fix, because the colander's got a lip on it that rolls around, and that's what we're going to be working on. Let's see. We can go ahead and do that. See if we can come up with a better mixture of silver, huh? Let's add a little bit more dark to this, since this is going to be in the shadow. Now with silver, it's very funny, because silver's going to pick up all the colors that's around it. So I guess let's just leave this off right now. Work on our apples. See if we can work on our apples some. We're going to take up our silver color, because who knows, we might come across a better color, a better recipe for silver. We never know. And it's alright if we don't know. Alright, let's go into our apple. To make the first color where the highlight's going to hit, I'm going to go into my cadmium red, a touch of Grumbacher red, and we're just going to paint over the part that I put in earlier. Got some thinner. I should have put the green in first, but I didn't. And I guess we should have put what the apples are going to sit on first in as well, because it's a white. But like I said, let's hope it'll be alright. You can't see that red very well, can you? Okay. Let's go back into some cadmium red and yellow. It doesn't make as a good orange as Grumbacher red and yellow, but right now all we need is a change. I'm going to touch the lemon yellow, give it a little bit more consistency and thickness. And I'm just going to plop it down right in here and there. Now, going to red, yellow, and I'm going to touch the phthalo blue. Now see, I've already got green on my palette, but right now I just want to mix a little bit more with this, because Viridian green is not very powerful. It's a very weak green. With this, I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit more of my cadmium red, and it's going to turn it real dark, because red is complement to green and green is the complement to red. Because there's some green in my apples. Let's not forget white. What I should have done was added my green, and then I could done the red as to cut down in on the green, but I didn't. Since this is going away from us, it's going to be more in shadow. So I'm going to add some of this right here. I'm going to cut into the red with the green. Just a little bit over. Try to help it blend a little bit better. It probably looks like a big fat swollen tomato, and it's half and half, so how are we going to fix this? How are we going to have a half and half tomato? Well, we're not. We're going to have one that's shadowed down. Mainly because I messed up on my red. I'd rather have a green apple that's fixing to turn red than have a red apple turning green. So in this, I'm just going to fill it with some colors right now. I'm going to pull down white, my orange. It's going to make a very light, fleshy color. And into that, I'm going to add just a touch of black. I'm going to go over these areas. That's white. I'm going to go into the green as well. And these we can cut these down. I'm going to cut the largeness of them down. But right now I need something to pick up that red. So I'm going to go into some Grumbacher red and white. A little bit more Grumbacher red. And I'll go into cadmium red as well. Right in here I'm touching it. And you can tell it's still going dark. And it's okay. But the other two, we'll fix the other two.